Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn how to do a rectangular shawl in the wedding ring or fairy ring circle pattern. It's a very pretty lace. I did this one in Comfy Cotton Blend from Lion brand. They say it's a light 3, but it's more like a 4, and I used a 6mm hook on it. But this was the yarn, and of course it's blocking the name of the color. The color is Latte. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, to start this pattern, you make your chain in multiples of 9 plus 2. Now, in order to make this shawl, you can work width, or you could do length. And when I made mine, I chose to do it by width. It just didn't seem as intimidating to handle the chain at the beginning. So what you're going to want to do, since it is a 4-row repeat once we get our setup row done, you might want to take notes, because if you have to stop and you can't come back to it for a day or two, you might forget what you're supposed to do next. Okay, so I have 47 chains here, multiples of 9 plus 2. And now I'm going to double crochet into the 7th chain from the hook. So the one on the hook does not count. In the 7th chain from the hook, we are going to begin a 2 double crochets together. So you yarn over, go over to the 7th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and pull through just 2 of your loops. You should still have 2 left on your hook. You're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and in the 3rd, you're going to do the second part of the 2 double crochet together. So you yarn over and pull through 2. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, and you yarn over and pull through those 3. And that gives you 2 double crochets together. Then we want to chain 2, skip 2, 1, 2, and in the 3rd chain we're going to do a V-stitch. And a V-stitch consists of a double crochet, a chain 2, and another double crochet in that same spot. Okay, you look like this. Then you're going to chain 2, skip 2, and do a double crochet, the beginnings of your 2 double crochet together. So you yarn over, pull through a loop, and then pull through 2, leaving 2 loops on your hook. Now we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and do the second half of our 2 double crochets together. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Chain 2, skip 2, 1, 2, and in the 3rd do a V-stitch, which is a double crochet, a chain 2, and another double crochet in that same spot. And then you're going to repeat that all the way to the end of your row. And at the end you should have one stitch left, and you're just going to chain 2 and do a double crochet into that last stitch. So 2 double crochet together, V-stitch, 2 double crochet together, V-stitch, and all the way to the end of your row. So 1, 2, okay, so I am at the end, and I started with the 2 double crochet together, I'm ending with the 2 double crochet together, 1 stitch left, I chain 2, and do 1 double crochet in the last chain. Okay, so it's the only time, kind of, that you're going to do this row. So for row 2, which will be the start of your repeat rows, you're going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to skip over to the V-stitch. And in the V-stitch we are going to do a double crochet, chain 2, come over to the second half of the V-stitch and do a double crochet, and you just formed a box. So now you chain 5, 4, 5, jump over to the V-stitch and do a double crochet, chain 2, go to the second half of the V-stitch and double crochet. You just made another box. Chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and jump over to your V-stitch. So you're going to do that all the way across to the end of your row. At the end, we don't have another V-stitch, so but what we're going to do is chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to come over to this last chain, skip 2, and in the third one, you're going to do a double crochet. Okay, so now you look like this. Write all this down. Okay, so row 2 was chain 8, double crochet in the first part of your V, chain 2, double crochet in the second part of your V, chain 5, and move on down the row to each V-stitch. Just take notes, trust me. Alright, so row 3, which is row 2 of your repeat, you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Turn your work, and you're going to make a V-stitch in the middle, which would be the third stitch from either direction, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. And it is best to go into the chain. So we're going to do a V-stitch, which is a double crochet, a chain 2, and another double crochet in that same chain space. Okay, so we got our V. Then we chain 2, and we're going to come over here to our box stitch, and we're going to do a 2 double crochet together. The first half goes in the first double crochet, and the second half goes over here in the second double crochet. And we've just did 2 double crochets together. So chain 2, come over to the middle of your chain 5 and place a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, in the same spot, chain 2, come over to the box, and it's 2 double crochets together, chain 2, to the middle of the chain 5, we do our V, there's a double crochet, a chain 2, and a double crochet in the same spot. See how we've formed this ring? We're almost done with this ring. Okay, so chain 2, come over to the box and do your 2 double crochets together. Okay, and you're going to alternate between the 2 double crochets together and the V-stitch all the way to the end of the row, and it is forming your rings. Okay, when you get to the end of your row, you're going to be at your chain 8, the beginning chain 8 from the previous row. So here you want to chain 2, skip 2, come over to the third one, and do a V-stitch. Okay. Then you're going to skip 2 and go into the third one with a double crochet. Okay. So right now I have 3 full rings and 2 partial ones on either end. Now it was row 3. So row 4, which is row 3 of our repeat rows, we are going to chain 3, turn our work, and we are going to double crochet into our V-stitch, the first part of it, chain 2, and double crochet into the second part of our V-stitch without dropping our stitch. Okay, so we're back to making the boxes. Chain 5, come over to your V-stitch and do a double crochet. Chain 2, double crochet, chain 5, jump over to your V and double crochet, chain 2, the second half of the V, double crochet, you're forming those boxes, and these big chain 5 spaces are the holes in the center of the circle. So chain 5, jump over to your V, and do a double, chain 2, do a double, chain 5, jump over to your V, do a double, a chain 2, and a double in the second half, and we're going to end the row with a single crochet into the top of our chain 3 from the row below. Okay, so this is where we're at now. row 5, which is row 4 of the repeat and the final row of the repeat, and then we jump back to row 2. I'm getting confused. Row 2, which is row 1 of our repeat rows. All right, so on this one, we chain 4 to start. And we are going to turn our work, and we're gonna 2 double crochets together into the tops of our block stitch. And in the middle of our chain 5, let's see, we're chain 2. And in the middle of our chain 5, we're going to do a V-stitch. Chain 2, another double in the same space. Chain 2, 2 double crochets together in the tops of our box stitch from the previous row. Chain 2, V-stitch in our middle of our chain 5. Chain 2, 2 double crochets together in the top of our box. Okay. So if you can see how this circle interlocks with this circle, which interlocks with that circle, and there, and so on. That's why some people call it the wedding ring pattern. Some people call it a fairy ring pattern. And then you think to yourself, why fairy rings? I guess because it has something to do with how mushrooms will pop up overnight in a circle. So because of that shape, this reminds them of fairy rings. Okay, so then we chain 2 and 2 double crochets together. And this row, because it ends with the 2 double crochets together, in this part, gets a chain 2 before you double crochet into the chain 3 from the row below. So now we have 2 complete rows of circles, and that was just running through the repeat one time. So the next step would be to start over with row 2, and if you wrote this down, you know that you're going to start off by chaining 8. And you're going to skip over to your V-stitch and do 2 double crochets, or double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into the V-stitch to form the box stitch, or box shape rather, and then chain 5 and move on to the next, and so on. So we can do another 4 rows. All right, so we're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn our work, jump over to our V-stitch and do a double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet in the second part of our V-stitch. Chain 5, double crochet in the top of our V, chain 2, double crochet in the second part of our V to make that box, chain 5, jump over to the next V-stitch, double crochet, oh my goodness, chain 2, and double crochet into the second leg of that V, chain 5, jump over to the V, do a double, chain 2, and a double into the second leg of the V, chain 5, and double crochet into the top of the chain 4 from the row below. Kind of looks off there. Nope, I was right. I was right. All right. So then the next row is a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn your work. And it is a V-stitch in the middle of the chain 5. So you're just repeating the same thing over and over again. It's just knowing what your starting chain is for the different rows. And then you just repeating basically 2 different things. Chain 2, 2 double crochets together, chain 2, V-stitch, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets together. Whoops. See how that completed the next circle, and then they just interlock. So when you're ready to be finished, you're probably going to want to finish off on a row like this, not on the chain 5 and the box stitch rows. So finish off, and your length or your width, whichever direction you chose to go, with the 2 double crochets together and the V-stitch row. And then you just, whatever type of border you choose to use. I did what was called a loose shell border on mine after I did 2 rounds of single crochet, just to like firm up the edges. But I think with the right fiber and the right color, the stitch would make beautiful curtains. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button on your way out, and we will see you in the next video.